Everyone is so stuck in the digital world and your competition's stuck in the digital world that we forget that we can find people's addresses, whether it be their home address, whether it's their business address, if you're B2B, B2C, and we can actually put something into their hands.
Welcome to another episode of Your Business, Your Next Level. Today we have a very special guest with us. His name is Devin Herz. He comes to us with over 25 years of deep marketing experience. He has propelled his company to the forefront as a leading-edge, disruptive, creative marketing agency. And guess what? He specializes in high-impact, direct response marketing, as well as robust business strategies where his company actually guarantees a surge in their clients' response rates with consistency and predictability. That is really hard to do, by the way, in the marketing world. Devin is a believer, as he should be, that as a business owner, you should entrust your marketing efforts to the experts and focus on what you do best, which, by the way, is probably running your business. He also has pioneered Print A Vision, infusing marketing with ingenuity by delivering your video message directly into your audience's hands. And let me tell you what, I saw this proven in my conversations with him, and it's absolutely an amazing concept. Devin isn't just about marketing. He's redefining engagement, ensuring that your message doesn't just reach the audience, but rather it captivates them. And to add just one more thing or two, he's also an Amazon bestselling author and an Addy Award-winning design team master of disruptive marketing. Without further ado, Devin, welcome to our show.
I'm so glad to bring some good quality content to you and your listeners.
My goodness, I tell you what, every time I looked at your bio multiple times, I'm sitting there thinking, and what's running through my head is marketing is the nemesis for everybody, right? The Achilles heel. And every time I think of marketing, especially direct response marketing, it's so hard to execute. And there are so many companies that they'll say we do it and we do it well, but we both know that when it comes to the actual delivery, well, that's a big question mark. So that leads us into the very first question. When you're thinking about marketing, what are some of those foundational things that you feel and you tell your clients that they should be focused on? Or maybe what are some of those things that you feel are very important for, frankly, when you engage with your audience and with your clients?
I think it all starts with the foundation. So one, I'm going to give real answers and real feedback because marketing is not easy. So number one, know that it is not easy. Even for one that does it all day long for multiple companies, it is something that you constantly have to evolve with. So let's focus on foundation. To me, we have a lot of people that are coming and they're looking for leads. They're looking for all this new opportunity and they want to try the latest and greatest things. What they forget a lot of times is, what does their foundation look like? When you're opening up a restaurant and you let that first customer in, you don't want that restaurant to be a mess. You don't want the service to suck. You want a great client or patron journey. And that's the same thing with your business. So starting off with your brand, does it relate to your audience? Your content, does it speak to them? Does it solve and hit on those pain points that they're experiencing and how you solve it? So listing the benefits and really showing what's in it for them by paying attention to your video content, paying attention to your offline printed collateral and everything to your online. So to me, it's about your brand. It's about your online presence, your offline presence, showing up differently, but then also making sure that you have systems in place and processes in place behind those beautiful websites and beautiful print collateral, because once they go in, take that first step, they opt in, they call you, you want to be able to automate as much of that as possible. And that's where a solid CRM comes into play. So I think looking good with the brand, resonating with your clients on your website and your print collateral, and then making sure that you have systems behind the scenes that help, one, make your life easier, but two, also give your clients and new opportunities an amazing journey.
I love the way that you articulated those things. Funny enough, just earlier today, I was talking to a brand new business owner, and the whole idea was, oh my gosh, we need to do this and we need to do that. Basically, they were talking about how they were going to show up in terms of colors and graphics. And I said, well, who's your target avatar? And the answer was, I don't know. It could be
Right.
really anyone. I said, listen, that's exactly where I started. When I started, I said, everyone needs what we do, but not everyone is fitted for that service. And I'm sure it's the same for you, right? And so what I see on my end is all too often, way too many business owners forget about the fact that it's an integrated approach. It's not just I've got the systems or I've got the emails or it looks good on paper. There's also the deliverability, which is a topic for another conversation. What do you see when you're working with your clients, rather clients that come to you right at the onset? Where do you see successful business owners struggling the most?
That's a great question as well. So you're armed with them. I would say that people think, one, we have so much content. As a business owner, I must get these probably 10 posts, 10 LinkedIn messages a day, all with this silver bullet, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get you to the first page. I'm going to get you 100 leads. There's so much opportunity right now. Which way do you go? I've struggled that with for my own marketing, and sometimes working on our own stuff is the hardest. But I would say, one, don't be afraid to try different things. I'm all for that. And you do have to test and measure. Just be smart about who you're hiring, who you're working with, because in reality, there really isn't a silver bullet. There may be things that may help you get to your goals faster, but there's not just going to be one thing. It is that omni-channel approach. So I would say when people come to us, they think for us, we're a creative agency. Our goal is to make sure that we're doing things that disrupt the audience, that get their attention, that if we're spending times on campaigns, let's make sure they're worth the energy that we're putting into them and people actually stop to look at them. So for me, being upfront, we're not a lead generation company. There's people out there you can pay for leads. What we do helps generate leads, but it also helps take those opportunities that you're having that you may have been losing before and helps increase those close rates, increase the response rates with all the effort that you're putting into it. So I would say it's not all about lead generation, and it's more about consistency and keeping things that are engaging, informational, educational to your audience so they follow for more.
I love what you said because a lot of people, you're right, will go after the lead gen. We see a very similar parallel when we're talking about on the financial side, right? It's all about let's dive in. I want X. I want to optimize the 401k or I want to optimize the whatever it is, right? And people are just paralyzed by it has to be that, when in reality, you mentioned the omni-channel approach. It's the same thing, whether you're building a business,
Yes.
whether you're looking at how you build wealth, whether you look at how do you build your marketing presence, it has to have a multi-pronged approach. And way too many people, to your point, they're just paralyzed because they want one thing, and they just, we're the same thing. We get bombarded with offers for, we can do this and we can do that. And what we know at the end of the day is that the bigger the offer, for when you find that misalignment or you feel that misalignment, chances are you just probably wasted 2 or 3 months of your life versus being strategic.
Yep.
I love that. So how
100%. Absolutely.
how do you typically work with your clients? When you guys start working together, what are some of the things that you do in order to kind of get them from where they're at to where they want to be when it comes to that omni-channel approach?
Absolutely. So, Dynamic Marketing Consultants, which is what DMC stands for, it is our focus, and the way that we built our team is to really have a handful of full-time team members that are invested in our clients' success. So back in the day, you had to find a printer, you had to find a web designer, you got to find a video creator. What we created is a team of really experts, gurus. All these terms are used so much, it's hard to even find a term that works. Marketing titans, as we call ourselves, that focus on all these elements. So we really are that full service creative team, which is going to save time and energy. So I would say a majority of our clients on our agency side, we work with a very small, select handful of people that are the right fit for us. Ethics, their goals, they trust us. They let us kind of come in with a blank canvas and let our creativity run wild. It is a collaborative approach. Most of our clients know their business better than we know their business. So we love feedback. We love insight. We love honest and brutal feedback whenever we need it. But it's to get to that end goal that our clients want. And that's to show up differently. Example of that is we just got done an amazing trade show for one of our top clients that's been with us for about 8 years called NSA. They had an event that had a booth at. And I'll tell you, just by doing things unique ways at their booth, from their backdrop to bringing in an augmented reality contest to win a remarkable tablet, just different things that all the 100 other vendors were not doing, made their booth stand out. It had people coming to their booth because their marketing was so unique. I mean, that little touches like that differentiate themselves is really, again, where we help out. So it doesn't matter whether it's a trade show, an event, if it's your online website presence, a funnel, a landing page, the printed materials, it takes all of that to make a great impression and continue to show up differently. And then the post-marketing after an event too, people forget about that. But your client database, your current list that you have right now, that's probably where some of the gold is sitting. And so many people love those new opportunities that they forget there. So I know that was a long answer there, but I would say that really diagnosing as if we were doctors, understanding their goals, focus on those top priorities first, because as entrepreneurs, business owners, all the different opportunities we have, we get very, very scattered. So I say, all right, what's goal number one? Let's focus there. Let's get this done, implemented, automated, then let's move to the next. So a very systematic way to where, hey, we're not going to get you rich overnight or by next month, but the people that stick with us and really rely on our strategies over time, that's where the benefits come out. Yeah, you'll see some immediate opportunities increase, but I would say over the time of dialing this in and showing up differently to your audience and providing education and tips and tricks and strategies, that's where people stay on and continue to build your audience that way.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned the dynamic team of, you called them the marketing titans. We have something similar on the Excelstra side,
Yeah.
except we focus more, they're the financial titans. But you talked about that. What's the one thing? And I love that you said that, Devin, because the one thing in our world is, we call it the domino effect. What is the one thing that ultimately will propel the clients? And it sounds like you're doing very similar. You have a very similar approach, because that one thing, that one domino effect can actually set in motion a chain of reaction to compound the effects of everything else that they're going to do. But without that, all too
Absolutely.
often we see people just, hip hopping and skip hopping, or whatever it's called, English as a second language. and at the end of the day,
No problem.
the results are minimized, right? So tell me, Devin, what is your superpower? Obviously, you know a lot about marketing. You know a lot about how to dig into the client's list, maybe of even potential emails or potential clients that they might have, and make heads and tails and bring some gold out of it. What other superpowers do you have?
I would say the superpower that we have as a team, other than our creative, because there's many creative agencies out there that produce fun materials, understanding all those different angles is number one. But I would say our real superpower is remembering the fact that tangible marketing works. Everyone is so stuck in the digital world, and your competition's stuck in the digital world, that we forget that we can find people's addresses, whether it be their home address, whether it's their business address, if you're B2B, B2C, and we can actually put something into their hands. Oh, well, direct mail doesn't work. We throw things in the garbage all the time. I've been hearing that for the last 30 years. I've done millions of pieces of mail, and yes, some of them fail, but that's our job, is to make sure that it goes in the A pile of mail, meaning that they keep it. It's something of value, so they don't just toss it out. Doing something that is very unique, which I don't know if you want me to share now, but integrating video into print. So if we're going after high level, what we call whale prospects, high-end clients, big ticket clients, prospects, we have definitely some unique ways to grab their attention, get you on their radar, and basically, have a way to create a campaign to then follow up digitally as well as physically. So I would say that superpower to me still is that tangible, direct marketing, direct response mail or handout that we would recommend.
And here's what I would say, something to complement that. Oftentimes individuals, they just always look at what's the next thing. And sometimes when everybody's looking at what's that next thing, they forget about what has been working for years and years. So now you're talking about put something in their hands, right? Whether it be a mailer or some sort of a letter or whatever video, whatever ends up in their hands tangibly at home. Everybody else has moved away from that. That's super, super powerful. What are some of the other that just brought up a question in my mind? What are some of the other trends that you've seen in working with clients and really over the last, I would say 2 to 3, 4, 5 years since AI and video delivery and all of that, the social media has kind of become more of a thing. What are some of the things that maybe people are forgetting, business owners are forgetting when it comes to how do they get more in the front of their potential clients?
Right. So I would say the personalization is something that's important. So anytime you're doing any kind of marketing, email marketing, your tangible direct mail that I'm speaking of, the more you can personalize it to them, the better. So that would be one thing that I would recommend. Believe it or not, too, I actually had a guest on my show, the DMC Marketing Nugget, who was about email marketing. And he really opened up my eyes too of, back to your current list. Oh, people don't look at emails. He said, approach your emails as if it's a podcast. Don't be afraid to send too many. And if people want to tune into your email, they're going to click it. If they don't, they won't. If they unsubscribe, so be it. So don't forget about email marketing. Have a good email marketing because that's something that's very inexpensive. You can hit your current audience. And then when it comes to prospecting, this is as close to me as our marketing silver bullet when it comes to direct mail. As I mentioned, there's no silver bullet. I'm a baseball fan. You've also probably seen Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. That doesn't really happen in business. You have to have things that are going on. So one of the examples of using the tried and true methods of tangible marketing and then tying in video. So this is an example coming from a video editing company, and this is their sizzle reel. So they're sending out what's called a video brochure to their prospects. People can send out thousands of these if they want. I am more about the sniper approach, finding 100 of your perfect target avatar, testing something out, sending a video brochure that stops them in their tracks, that educates them on, again, back to the benefits of why they should be paying attention to you, how you're going to help them. And then picking up that thing that we used to call a cell phone that's now a camera and a web browser and a social media thing called your phone, and following up with a phone call, especially B2B. There's no limitations on who you can call. So I would say something like that. Or let's say you're a solar company and you're at a trade show and you got someone that's hot, or you're going out to meet someone. This is a video business card. So first impressions are amazing. So when you show up professionally and have a video that explains your business.
As you're listening on podcast, Devin was literally showing some examples of the video marketing pieces that he's talking about. So stay tuned as this goes on YouTube. You'll be able to see them as well, but they're pretty amazing. I tell you what, I've seen those myself and they work like magic. And I love your approach, Devin, where you called it the sniper approach. Go after the things that matter, because if not, you end up just diluting your market and diluting who it is that you ultimately may end up working with. I love that approach.
Right. Yeah, and no lead and no opportunity, even with LinkedIn marketing and some of the things, you're going to have calls that may waste your time, not be the best fit, but you never know where those things lead as well, and follow up. But I think making that first impression, and for those of you that are listening on the podcast, essentially it's a high HD video screen that we're embedding in printed solutions. So a brochure, a pocket folder, even big point of sale types of systems, video banners, things like that. That's what we're speaking of a way to put your video directly into your target audience's hands, which QR codes don't do, emails don't do. It's just eliminating all the barriers, eliminating all the distractions, gets them focused on your video message. And even if you take the time, you can personalize that video message on there so it's talking directly to them, which is definitely, in my world, that's a home run.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think the common denominator to all of that is get in front of your audience in the most creative way possible, but get in front of your target audience. And you also mentioned about LinkedIn. I think
Yes.
LinkedIn over the last couple of years has just really been diluted to such an extent where you're talking about it. Everybody basically lends into your inbox with some sort of a promise of something. And frankly, even for us, when we get that, it's like, really, how about that, the personal element first? I don't even know who you are. You want me to hire you for exactly, I don't know what. And so, as if you too are listening to this and you're feeling bombarded on LinkedIn, do not feel alone. You're not alone. But the reality is, you also get to be choosy to, when you have that feeling of, somebody's reaching out to me, what's in it for them versus what's in it for me. Do listen to that gut feeling. Those things are really important. Devin, as business owners, we have a lot of
Yeah.
very successful business owners listening to this podcast. And we all know that we each have had our own failures and our own struggles, and along with the successes that have been achieved. What would you say your biggest maybe failures or points of that have made you think about what the future may look like have been for you?
Yeah, I would say hire hard, fire fast sometimes. You as entrepreneurs are always, oh, we're positive thinking, things are going to be better. The economy's cry, oh, we'll be fine in a couple months. I think it's very hard as a business owner to make some of those quick decisions because it could be losing some of your team members. It could even be firing a client that's holding you back. Those things are crucial. So back to working with the right clients. I mean, we've had clients that could be time sucks and just poison the entire team because they're either treating us wrong or they're just not open to our solutions. So I would say, don't be afraid to fire your clients when it needs to happen. Not that that happens all the time, but I can tell you that it's usually brighter on the other side once that happens. And then the same thing with your team members. I mean, I absolutely love my team. We have an amazing team right now, but sometimes you do need to step back, look and see what you're investing in, who you're investing in. Are they really giving it all they got? Are they really turning into transactions and dollars and opportunities for you or whatever it is that their role is? So I would say that is not just to rest on your laurels and think that things are going to get better. So sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So you have to be a little bit selfish in a way that, making sure that you're safe, making sure that you're secure financially, business wise, and then constantly evolving. The ones that just stay static and, oh, we're just going to use the same website we had 10 years ago. We're just going to use the same processes we had 10 years ago. We're not going to jump on this AI bandwagon, the social media. You're probably going to lose and be out of business if you don't evolve. And I've seen that for many, many years, whether it's a nightclub, a restaurant, a marketing company. If we're not bringing in new strategies, fresh takes, fresh menu, a fresh atmosphere in a nightclub, anything like that, that's where I see people really failing. So making sure that you're staying out there consistently and being fresh with some of the new ways of thinking and the new tools that we have at our fingertips.
It's beautiful, Devin, what you said, because it really also applies to, as you're listening to this podcast, you're probably, and if you've been at the crossroads of situations where you're looking at possibly hiring a team, and our conversation here is very relevant, focused on marketing. If you're in a situation where maybe you've hired a team and you're thinking it's going to get better and it's going to continue to evolve, the same exact things that Devin said apply to you as a consumer. We see it all too often where people just kind of go on, and the whole idea is, if it's not broken or we don't think it's broken, just don't fix it. And that's something that I'm very much all for. But if it's not working, it's got to get fixed, simply because something's there but it's not working, it's not optimized, we're just going to leave it. It's going to come back around. By the time it comes back around, you probably, in our world, on the financial side, we're talking, for most clients, sometimes hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars left to chance. And it's the same thing if you're running a business. Those services that you're receiving from those companies that you hire can be, sometimes they can put you in harm's way more than they can deliver. Also, Devin, you were talking about 2008. The you called it the crash and burn when we connected previously. What were your lessons learned from 2008? We see it on the financial side. We're still having
Yeah.
those conversations. What did you see?
So back in 2008, one thing that we experienced is I had a lot of overhead. At that point, we had our print, our direct mail house, and we did a lot of printing. So we had leases on monstrosity print machines, cutters, post-production equipment. I was hiring people. I read the E-Myth, which talks about delegating and hiring the right people. Great book. But you also got to realize you don't need to hire someone for every position. So, I got into that. We were doing good. We were cranking out tons of, whether it be real estate postcards, direct mail. It was nonstop business. And 1 month went by and business kind of went down. And 2 months went by. And I mean, just one segment, we'll talk about real estate because that crashed as well during that time. I mean, losing $30,000 in business a month, it may not be detrimental 1 month, but you do that 3, 4 months, it's a huge hit to the business. So back to where I was saying, gotta look ahead and don't think of everything is going to be unicorns and rainbows at the end of this recession that's going to be done in a week. It could be a long time. So making sure that you shift fast to protect yourself. Cut down your expenses, cut your overhead, make sure you have the key team members that are going to make a difference, trim some of the waste that you may have. So that would be my recommendation there is just, watching your overhead, watching your expenditures. And I still do that today. And sometimes I mess up, because we don't live in a perfect world. We spend too much on a marketing campaign. We do this, we do that, we hire the wrong people. So you live and learn, unfortunately, in business by mistakes. But people like myself and you that are hosting this show, we can convey those mistakes. So hopefully you miss those if anything pops up like this in the future.
It's, you said earlier, hire hard, fire fast, systems and processes. Guess what? My hypothesis is if you do both of those, having been there, you figure out who works, who doesn't work. We call it, do you have the right people on the bus? And then by just having those systems, right. I love that you talked about that because the systems and the processes will help you bring in the automations, find the synergies, find what are the things that, can be distributed across the team that you might already have versus feeling like you're always having to chase something or someone else simply because maybe it's too hard to sit down with that process and say, it's got to get documented and we got to maybe even more figure out what are the inefficiencies and how do we fix those. And I think you did a beautiful articulation of what that looks like, Devin.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Anything else that you feel would be important, kind of taking it back to marketing, because that's your world. You live there with dynamic marketing consultants every day, that you feel our business owners can and should be thinking about as it comes to, we talked about the history, we talked about kind of where we're at right now, but thinking about the future, what should they be thinking about when it comes to all of this stuff that's happening with AI and, a lot of the uncertainty that's happening in the marketplace?
Yeah, I mean, AI, I think over time, there's definitely going to be places that it takes over some of our roles as marketers, probably many of your roles out there that are listening. So just staying up to speed with what's going on, because right now, to me, I love AI. I think it's amazing. It allows us as marketers to be able to do things that we may not love so much, like proposals and plans. We can still articulate an amazing social media plan, but I may not be able to set it up in a way that's very easy for someone to digest. So I can drop that into AI and say, here is my plan from my brain, not your brain, from my brain. Now take this and make this into a nice format that's easy to be digested from our clients. They can look at it, understand what's going on. So use that power, harness any power that's out there right now to help you get things done more efficiently. So I would say that's number one. Don't be scared of this new technology. Learn it. You don't need to know everything. You can learn it or hire people that are experts within it to use it to catapult what you've got going on. I would say that's important. Staying out there with content, whether you're doing more of a personal brand and you're a face of the company, especially in your world with wealth management and wealth, any kind of financial advisors and things like that, is a lot of times they're just trying to push the business, but ultimately they're buying into you. So it's not about being egotistical. There's ways to put it out there and be that face that people relate to your business. So don't be afraid of doing your own content. You all got those phones, pull them out, do those selfie videos. all you got is 10, 15 seconds of content. That's all we need this day and age. And give a tip. Even if you're providing one tip, 3 tips a week to your audience, that keeps them coming back for more. So just, I would say content is key, staying on the cusp of technology, using some of these things that we're talking about here, where you're integrating video into tangible materials. If you do trade shows, things like, for those on the podcast won't see it, but for the video show, behind me is a video board. And we have all sorts of really cool futuristic style video components now. So from video displays to transparent video screens that go up on your window. So if you're in a retail location, those types of things, again, can bring the eye to you, make them pay attention to you versus the restaurant down the road. Things like that, I think, will really help people stand out if they're staying on the cutting edge of technology. And you can figure out where to find that stuff either online or ask AI, what's the latest and greatest in marketing? You'll get some tips there as well, or you can always follow us on social, as we love to give out education and show off new things that are coming to market.
You could not have landed that better for me, Devin. So with that, where can our listeners find you? Where can they get more of that amazing information from you?
Yeah, you can always type my name into Google, but I would say the 2 websites, the easy one to digest from the podcast is yourdmc.com, YOURD like dog, M like Mary, C like cat.com, yourdmc.com. That's our agency site. You'll be able to see the few areas that we focus on for the creative side. And then for the video in print and video displays, I highly recommend that you go check that out. Whether you're doing anything or not, it's really cool to see some of the new technology. And that's printavision.com, PRINT, the letter A, VIZION.com.
I love that, Devin. Thank you so much. So if you want to learn more, I would actually very much encourage you, make sure that you check both of those resources out, and we'll have them in the comments section. So make sure you check them out, click on them, and especially those video. What did we call them? What did you call them, Devin? The video cards, the video embedded something.
Oh yeah. Video. We got video mailers, video brochures, video displays, video boxes. Here, real quick, I'll even show you this. So this was something that we did for Reese's in the NFL. This is a video box, so a swag box, gift box.
So you've got cool. all sorts of boxes, all sorts of video type content, and especially if you're dealing with high net worth or higher level business owners or businesses where you're trying to get in front of. Those are really cool. I can tell you, I saw a version of this probably about 7-8 years ago. And when Devin and I started chatting, I was like, oh my God, I wonder if your company put this together. So definitely worth checking out. And Devin, is there anything else that you would like for our listeners to take away from today's conversation?
I practice what we preach. I'm providing plenty of ideas out there, plenty of strategies as they come along to our audience. But yeah, I would say that for any business owners out there is look at what your competition's doing, figure out what your goals are, dial in that avatar of your client, and do things differently. So if you see them doing one thing, you probably want to do something different so you stand apart from them. And that would probably be my biggest tip, is just do things that get people to stop in their tracks to pay attention to any kind of marketing that you're spending time on.
So as you're listening to this, if you're wondering what is going to stop your client avatar in their tracks in order for them to notice you, make sure you check out the resources in the comments below. And Devin, this was such a pleasure having you here with us today. You dropped a lot of really, really amazing insights, and I'm sure that our listeners are going to absolutely love it. Without further ado, please make sure that you subscribe and you listen to the next episode. Stay tuned. We always have some amazing guests that are dropping equal amounts of amazing value and pure gold into your life and into your businesses. Stay tuned for Your Business, Your Next Level.
Are you truly ready to elevate your business to unprecedented heights and keep more of what you earn? Before you move on to your next challenge, consider what you could lose if you hesitate. Immediate action. Step up by visiting Excelstra.com. That's EXCELSTRA.com now to connect with Eunicia and her expert team. It's your gateway to discovering innovative strategies that help you keep more of your hard-earned profits. Stay informed, Don't just listen, subscribe. Make sure you're consistently equipped with the latest strategic insights that directly impact your bottom line. Your business, your next level is your essential resource for your ongoing business success and profitability. Act today to secure a future where you keep more of every dollar earned. Your business doesn't wait, and neither should you.